Today on Public Eye News, a Russian cybercriminal is sentenced for a digital theft scheme. And later, the Michigan Department of Corrections works to advance its safer prisons goals at a UP facility.
Teddy Mari will give you your weather forecast for the next couple days. Later, I will give you today's sports breakdown. I'm Emily Goodacre.
And I'm Liam Euland-Joy. You're watching Public Eye News. A Russian cybercriminal was sentenced to 24 months in a U.S. federal prison for running a botnet that helped steal millions from American businesses, the U.S. Department of Justice has announced. Ilya Angelov managed a network of infected computers that cybercriminals used to launch ransomware attacks on dozens of U.S. companies. The judge also ordered Angelov to pay a $100,000 fine and $1.6 million in money judgments. According to records, his botnet was sold to other cyber groups who extorted companies by locking up their data and demanding payment to unlock it. The FBI worked with international partners to investigate and bring the case to court. Animal shelters across Michigan are getting a boost to help care for homeless pets. The Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development announced $150,000 in Animal Welfare Fund grants that will go to 24 animal shelters across the Upper and Lower Peninsula. The funding will help shelters provide care, medical services, and resources for animals waiting to be adopted. Many of the projects funded focus on expanding spay and neuter services, which make up more than 85% of this year's grants. The grants are made possible through voluntary donations from Michigan taxpayers, and since the program began in 2010, more than $2 million has been distributed to shelters across Michigan, providing care for animals and supporting shelters working to find pets their forever homes.
The Michigan State Housing Development Authority has authorized funding for 490 affordable housing units across the state. They will be located in Grand Traverse, Washtenaw, and Wayne counties. The development in Grand Traverse County, known as the Flats, will feature 48 housing units at a cost of $9.5 million. They will serve households between 30 and 70% of the area's median income. 68 senior units will be built in Livenaw at a cost of $16.8 million. The location in Ann Arbor will bring 330 affordable housing units at a cost of $118. It will be the first high-rise, all-affordable apartment building in the city of Ann Arbor. And a Level 2 bed unit at Chippewa Correction Facility will be closed under the Michigan Department of Corrections' new phase of the Safer Prisons Plan. Prisoners housed in the unit will be relocated to other housing units and facilities. The closure comes due to the reduced demand for Level 2 beds and staff vacancies. The closure is expected to reduce overtime and increase retention of prison employees. It is also intended to promote a safer facility and heighten employee well-being. In addition to the changes at Chippewa Correction Facility, the Department of Corrections has increased the number of Level 4 beds at the Macomb Correction Facility. The department views shutting down old units and expanding those in demand as steps towards a more safe and secure prison. And President Trump said that he would give a 5-day delay on an order to strike Iran's plans so that negotiators could find a deal. That was on Monday. Today, the president says if Iran doesn't agree to a deal soon, there will be no turning back and it won't be pretty. The president is giving negotiators time to talk while preparing to expand the fighting if necessary. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
President Trump says time is running out for Iran to agree to a deal, posting on social media that Iranian negotiators better get serious soon before it's too late.
They are begging to work out a deal. I don't know if we'll be able to do that. I don't know if we're willing to do that.
The president called Iranian negotiators strange, saying they are begging for a deal in private while publicly denying it.
They say, oh, we're not talking to them. Anybody would know that.
Iran's denials continued Thursday with Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi telling state media that no negotiations have taken place, but admitted that sometimes messages get exchanged through friendly countries.
We have, along with your foreign policy team, presented a 15-point action list that forms the framework for a peace deal. This has been circulated through the Pakistani government.
The White House has said the president is ready to, quote, unleash hell on Iran if Tehran does not accept a deal. It comes as additional troops are on their way to the region.
Our capabilities are only going up and Iran's are plummeting. We are here to win, and we're full speed ahead.
Sources tell CBS News the Pentagon is expected to send elements of the Army's 82nd Airborne Division to the Middle East, a rapid response unit that can deploy on short notice. That's on top of the sailors and Marines en route already. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Now don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with your sports breakdown and statewide news after this break.
On the next Media Meet, we check in with RX Kids, the cash assistance program for expectant mothers and newborns. Some 500 families have tapped into the program since it began 1 year ago in the Eastern UP. Now, RX Kids is available across all 15 UP counties. We will find out why it's expanding and the impact it's having. RX Kids, cash for moms and babies, goes UP-wide next time on Media Meet.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Emily Goodacre with your sports report. Starting off on the lacrosse field, the NMU women's team will head to Grand Valley State and Davenport University. The first matchup will be against the Lakers tomorrow at 5 p.m. Next, it will face off against Davenport on the 29th. The Wildcats recently trounced Saginaw Valley 23-1. Junior attackee Josie Lacroski led the nation in goals per game after last weekend, with 9 shots on target. She was honored at GLIAC Forward of the Week as well. For the other opponent of the Wildcats, the Lakers, NMU has yet to defeat them. There is hope for Northern against the Panthers, however, as the Cats have won 5 of the 6 last matchups against the Panthers. The games will be streamed on Flow Live and results will be placed on NMUWildcats.com. Sliding over to the ice, the Detroit Red Wings take on the Buffalo Sabres tomorrow in Buffalo. It will be the two teams' third matchup of the season. Buffalo clinched the last meeting 5-4 in a nail-biting overtime. All eyes will be on Red Wings' Dylan Larkin, who currently sits at 29 goals and 27 assists for Detroit. Also doing well is Alex DeBrincat with 4 goals and 10 assists over the last 10 games. And for their opponent, the Sabres' Rasmus Dahlin has 15 goals and 50 assists so far. Detroit is 38, 25-8 overall, and 12-9-2 against the Atlantic Division. And staying with the Red Wings, defensive Jacob Bernard-Docker will stay with the team after signing a 2-year extension valued at $3.2 million. The 25-year-old has skated an average of 15 minutes over 55 games. Bernard-Docker previously had stints with the Ottawa Senators and the Buffalo Senators. That's all for your Public Eye Sports Report. Now back to the desk.
Thank you for that sports update, Emily, but now it's time for your statewide news, beginning with this. A Metro Detroit theft ring targeting beauty stores is coming to an end after a woman admitted to organizing the crimes. 38-year-old Chira Broughton of Detroit pleaded guilty to running a criminal enterprise connected to a series of thefts at Ulta beauty stores across Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb counties. Investigators say the group carried out more than a dozen push-out thefts. In these incidents, people entered stores, grabbed large amounts of merchandise, and quickly ran out to a waiting vehicle. Officials estimate the stolen beauty products were worth more than $30,000. The items were later resold online through Facebook Marketplace. Broughton is scheduled to be sentenced in April and could face up to 20 years in prison. And for most students, the courtroom is something they only see on TV. But for students in Michigan's Bay region, it's about to become part of the classroom. The Michigan Supreme Court is bringing its 33rd Court Community Connections program to the region, giving students the opportunity to participate in pre-argument briefing and learn how the state's highest court operates. During the event, students will see attorneys present their cases and watch justices ask questions before making decisions. The program also allows justices to connect directly with local communities and inspire students to consider careers in law or public service. Through Court Community Connections, the program continues working to make the legal system more accessible and educational for students. And frustration is growing over lawmakers' failure to make a deal to end massive TSA lines at airports. Democrats and Republicans have rejected each other's latest offers to end the partial government shutdown, and there are just 2 days left before Congress goes on recess. Nicole Skanga has the latest.
On Capitol Hill Wednesday, the acting TSA administrator warned the situation at the nation's airports could get even worse if the government shutdown continues.
We are being forced to consolidate lanes and may have to close smaller airports if we do not have enough officers.
Republicans and Democrats have traded proposals in recent days to reopen DHS, but there's been no deal so far.
We have differences of opinion when it comes to ICE.
A source tells CBS News the Democrats' latest rejected counteroffer included requirements that federal immigration agents wear body cameras and identification in the field.
The radical left Democrats need to get DHS back and open immediately.
Bush Airport in Houston is one of the epicenters of America's TSA headache.
Tell me why you got here so early.
Because I didn't want to stay on this line, and look at me, I'm still here.
As few as a third of the security lanes here are operational at any given time because roughly 40% of the TSA personnel have called out of work as they await a DHS funding deal to restart their paychecks. Over the past 6 months, TSA has gone without funding for 86 days and counting, meaning TSA officers have worked almost every other day without an on-time paycheck. More than 480 officers have quit altogether since the latest shutdown began.
You're not angry with TSA workers who aren't showing up?
No. I sympathize with the fact they've got to feed their families and take care of business.
Here in Houston, wait times have regularly exceeded 4 hours, but help is on the way with at least 24 reinforcements. Members of TSA's rapid response team expected to arrive today to help in screening passengers. Nicole Skanga, CBS News, Houston.
Now it's time for your weather report. Teddy, how's it looking?
Well, Liam, it's still a little cloudy around the Upper Peninsula as a whole. It's also quite foggy in certain areas as well. Looking at the NMU roof cam, you can see that the snow is kind of starting to melt a little bit and grass is starting to show, but there's a little bit of snowfall, just a little bit, so it might not be uncovered for long. As I said, looking at the entire Upper Peninsula, it is just cloudy with a lot of fog as well. It is 23 up in Houghton. It is 27 degrees in Ironwood, 37 degrees in Iron Mountain, and 37 degrees in Menominee as well. Over in Escanaba, it is 34 degrees, Manistique 35 degrees, and Sault Ste. Marie is 31 degrees. And back in Marquette, it is 27 degrees currently. And taking a closer look at that, we have winds coming from the north at 15 to 20 miles per hour, and our barometric pressure is 29.87 inches and steady. Looking into tonight is going to be a low of 20 degrees tonight with winds unchanged, still coming from the north at 15 to 20 miles per hour, and our moon phase is going to be a waxing crescent. Looking into tomorrow, there is a chance of snow, so look out for that, with a high of 28 degrees and a low of 18 degrees, with winds coming from the northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Looking into the rest of our weekend, we have mostly sunny for the weekend and a little bit more sun on Monday. Saturday it's going to be a high of 34 degrees and a low of 27. Sunday is going to be 46 degrees as the high. That's nice and warm with a low of 33 degrees, and Monday is going to be a high of 40 degrees and a low of 29 degrees. That's all I have for your weather today. We'll be right back after the break.
Lanzar la primera línea prêt-à-porter de Velvet.
La colección de Ana no debe salir adelante.
La guerra acaba de comenzar.
¿Sabías que Alberto estaba vivo?
Thanks for that weather update, Teddy. I'm appreciating that it's a little more walkable around here with the lack of snow. How about you, Emily?
Definitely. It looks a little nicer that you can finally see some grass.
Absolutely. But that's all the time we have left today at Public Eye News. I'm Liam Yulin-Joy.
And I'm Emily Goodacre.
And we'll see you next time.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.